Welcome back, brothers and sisters of Christ. My name is Brianna and I'm back with another video. And for today's video is pray deeper. Something that I started doing the closer I got to the Lord is praying deeper and not just praying for myself and selfish prayers. Like most people, I would just pray for things to happen in my life, which when I look back on, that was so selfish when there's so many people in the world that needs prayer and so many other things that could be prayed for. One of the things that really stood out to me about Solomon's prayer that people don't mention was that he didn't just pray for wisdom for himself, but he prayed for wisdom to lead the people of Israel. So in 1 Kings chapter 3, verse 7 through 15, it says, "Now, Lord my God, you have made your servant king in place of my father David, but I am only a little child and do not know how to carry out my duties. Your servant is here among the people you have chosen, a great people, too numerous to count or number. So give your servant a discerning heart to govern your people and to distinguish between right and wrong. For who is able to govern this people, this great people of yours?" The Lord was pleased that Solomon had asked for this. So God said to him, "Since you have asked for this and not for a long life or wealth for yourself, nor have asked for the death of your enemies, but for discernment in administering justice, I will do what you have asked. I will give you a wise and discerning heart, so that there will never be anyone like you, nor will there ever be more. I will give you a wise and discerning heart, so that there will never have been anyone like you, nor will there ever be. Moreover, I will give you what you have not asked for, both wealth and honor, so that in your lifetime you will have no equal among kings. And if you walk in obedience to me and keep my decrees and commands as David your father did, I will give you a long life." Then Solomon woke up and he realized it had been a dream. So the Lord was pleased with the fact that he was asking for these things to lead the people. It wasn't, it didn't say, I think it was both. The Lord is used to us asking for wealth and stuff like that, but not only was he not even asking for that, but he was asking for wisdom to lead other people. So it wasn't just materialistic or success, but what he was asking for was something that could help other people as well. And that really has stood out to me. And most people just mention the fact that he asked for wisdom. But when I read it, I'm like, he didn't just ask for wisdom just to have wisdom for himself. He asked for wisdom to lead the people. And I think that is a great prayer for those, in any type of leadership role, in ministry and business. Because it's not just about you and your selfish needs and desires, but it's also about the people that are connected to you and the people that you're called to help and lead. And you need to know how to lead people. And how else would you lead people without any knowledge, without any wisdom, and lead people the right way? You know what I mean? All leaders are not good leaders. So in order to lead people the right way, you do need wisdom. You do need knowledge, and you need that from God. He's going to give you everything you need, all the tools necessary to lead his people down the right path. But of course, I still ask for God. I still ask God for things. You know what I mean? We all going to ask God for things, materialistic things. But I got to the point where it's not always materialistic things. There's so many things that I pray about now that I never thought to pray about before. Praying about when you have to endure hardships, that you have the strength to get through those hardships. Pray you remain steadfast. Pray you will never forget the things that God has done and delivered you from and took you from. Pray that nothing can break your faith. Pray that you will not compromise the word of God. Pray for the leaders of this world. Pray for the homeless. Pray for the church and other churches. Pray you remain humble no matter what God gives you. Pray that even when you don't get what you ask for, that you don't turn your back on him. And if you do get what you ask for, that you don't turn your back on him. Pray that the Lord searches your heart and remove anything that doesn't belong. Pray that your family seeks him and finds him and never turn away from him. Pray that, generations and generations will continue to practice and preach the word of God and remain steadfast in the word of God. Pray that no matter who you lose, that you're going to keep praising him, because baby, you're going to lose some people along the way, but you can't let that break your faith and take you away from God. Pray that you have no desire or taste for the world and what it has to offer. Pray that he makes his desires your desires. Pray that your plans aligned to the will of God. Pray that you are content and grateful no matter what situation and season that you're in or going through. Pray that no matter what, you will not turn your back on God, baby. You know, it's just so much. And it's so much more than money and success. And don't get me wrong, we all want that in some certain aspects. But it's so much more. You know, and it's also not always about praying for ourselves. You know, praying for other people. You know, we can pray for ourselves as well, obviously, because us being a better person will help other people. But we need to also pray for other people. You know what I mean? I feel like oftentimes we get caught like just praying for ourselves and about ourselves, and it's not always about self. And you know, the Bible talks about helping other people, thinking about other people. You know, once you come to Christ, we are expected to put people before ourselves. And yes, so you know, I can't tell you what to pray about. It's none of my business what you're praying about. And I'm not saying anything's wrong with praying for a materialistic thing. But this was just something that I felt like was an eye-opener. When I read Solomon's prayer, it really made me realize, like, wow. He wasn't just praying for wisdom for himself. He was praying for wisdom to lead God's people. And to me, that was just so eye-opening. And it was just so powerful. And it was just a form of, you know, putting himself, other people first above himself. Like, Lord, if you're calling me to do this, I'm willing, but I need you to give me what I need to do to serve your people in the best way that I can, to help your people in the best way that I can. And the Lord was pleased with that. So, you know, this is just an eye-opener, y'all, that we can pray deeper. You know, it's so much more to think about, to pray about. And it's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing because God will grant those prayers. God answers those prayers. God is pleased with those type of prayers, and not saying it just do it because God is pleased, but it's you know, it's a beautiful thing to practice along the way. It really is. But if this word is not for you, it's for somebody else. Remember, I'm telling y'all this because I love y'all. God bless.